Hello, dear student. Welcome to Strivage IS Daily Newspaper Analysis. So today we are going to see about the 9th June newspaper. So first important news of the day: Jaishankar to step off diplomatic push to visit French and Belgium. So first you have to find the location of the French and location of the Belgium. Okay. So the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar left Sunday week-long visit to the Belgium, and Belgium is the Belgium, like the European Commission and European Parliament headquarters in Belgium. So you need to, like, Brussels. So you have to remember that here there can be a good question: where is the headquarter of European Commission and European Parliament? कहाँ है? ब्रुसेल में है. ब्रुसेल कहाँ है? कैपिटल ऑफ बेल्जियम. ठीक है. So this is a visit. This is his third visit to the Europe in past few months as a part of government effort to set off, step up the diplomatic outreach after our Operation Sindoor. Okay, so that will expose the sinister design of the Pakistan, how they are promoting terror as an instrument of foreign policy. So next is the visit of External Affairs Minister is expected to further deepen the friendly relation between India and European Union, and particularly and also with Belgium and France. Okay. So ministry said that the French Jaishankar will also visit Paris bilateral talk. So in there he will also address the Mediterranean Reshina dialogue. So here there can be a good question: the Mediterranean Reshina dialogue recently held in which locations? Okay, so you have to know that location. It is Marseille. Okay, so this Mediterranean Resina dialogue is conducted by Ministry of External Affairs and Overseas Research Foundation, ORF, Overseas Research Foundation. Then you have to location, identify few location. For example, you need to know about the Marseille is one of the European port along with Trieste and Italy and Piraeus, Greece, that are the running through the India Middle East economic corridor. So you have to also map about the IMEC, Indian Middle East Economic Corridor, IMEC. You will also have to map the IMEC. So although the ambition, though IMEC जो है, देखो recent this year in UPSC prelims they ask about international north south transport corridor, so they might ask about IMEC, India Middle East Economic Corridor. So it's an ambitious project launched in 2013, but that have been stopped because of Israel and Gaza conflict that is currently going on in the West Asia. So okay, so recently India and European Union also negotiating for a free trade agreement. So once we have this free trade agreement, so that is also going to promote our trade from India. Okay. So next important issue news is about the Meitei group leader held and violence erupt in the Manipur. So recently the the Arambai Tengol, the member was arrested for his role in 2023 violence. CBI says government clamp ban order following the classes Meitei output imposed shutdown and five Valley district of the state. So once the government started to arrest this insurgents, no need to remember all these names. So that is the reason I'm not also remembering the name. You just to know about the context so that you can write examination. No need to know about the names. Okay. So violence broke out in the Impal Valley. Impal Valley means Manipur का जो होती है capital. ठीक है. Leader after the leader of the Arambai Tengol, an armed Meitei radical group, was picked up by the security forces on the Saturday. So after security forces arrest the Tengol, then Arambai Tengol, so there is a protest erupt in the you can say Manipur. So to reduce that, government issue prohibitory order under section 163 of भारतीय न्याय संहिता. So ये आपको बोलते हैं prohibitory order means you cannot assemble, like जैसे हमारा था इससे पहले क्या था section 144. Before that there is a section 144 of Indian Penal Code that prohibit gathering of more than 3 persons. So same thing is coming under section 163 of Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. Suspended internet mobile data so that it cannot spread the misinformation. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So Russia pushes offensive into Ukraine eastern Dnipropetrovsk region. ठीक है. So Russia said on this Sunday that it was pushing Ukraine eastern industrial region for first time in a 3-year offensive, significant terrestrial escalation amid stalled talk. So recently what happened, there is a negotiation. On the one hand, negotiation is going on between the Russia and Ukraine. On the other hand, they are fighting to gain much more territory so that they have upper hand in the negotiation table. So that is the reason they are saying. So Moscow in 2020 claim annexation of the frontline Donetsk, Kherson, Lugansk and Zaporizhia region which it did not have full control over. So you need to know about this location, so they can ask about UPSC. So recently these are seen in news related to which region: Asia region, Latin American region, or Asian region, Central Asian region. So they can ask this type of question, so you have to remember this location. So in past also UPSC asked this kind of question also. Then you have to also remember this location. What is the name of this location? It is Dnipro Petrovsk. So this location is located in the is Russia and Ukraine border. So they will not ask about whether it is part of the Ukraine or Russia. They will ask about a broader region like Eurasian region. So dear student, मैं already आपको बताया हूँ. Whatever task like during this discussion, I am going to give you task. Let's say 5 to 6 tasks. So you have to complete this 5 to 6 tasks after completion of the reading or parallelly the reading, like while you are watching this video. So it is my guarantee you'll get 20 to 30 marks extra in the prelims. So prelims should not be our headache. Okay, clear prelims with thumping majority. So like thumping extra marks. So don't worry about that. Whatever I'm giving task, simply do that. So under that part you have to map this location and this location, and should remember that these are the conflict region between the Ukraine and Russia. And dear student, those who are giving OPSC prelims, so they can join our test series. So it is very nominal fees, yet you'll get high quality test. Okay. So next, this is a very sad incident. Bangladesh student protester is a voter in the West Bengal. So one protester who is in protesting in Bangladesh also a voter in the West Bengal. So this is a very serious, you can say, security lapse. How can a person who is protesting in Bangladesh also a voter of India? And so like that is a clear indications that we need to clean our voter electoral roll, so that those who are illegal migrant or those who are overstaying, so they should not allowed to have the vote also. Okay. So and dear student, you can join our mains answer writing program. So here you will get completely flexibility program. Either you can write 4 questions on a daily basis, or you can write weekly full length test, or and you will get timely evaluation. Here our evaluator are already selected candidates. Okay, we'll let you discussion with them. Okay, so that it will help you to improve your answer writing. So next important is news, that is Odisha government to ban non-veg and non-veg food liquor near to the Puri temple. So recently there is a decision taken by the Odisha government. They want to stop the liquor and non-veg within 2 kilometer premises of the Jagannath temple. So Odisha government will ban the sale of non-vegetarian food and liquor within 2 kilometer radius of the Jagannath temple in Puri. State law minister said that. Okay. So this initiative mainly aim to protect the sanctity and the religious nature of the temple. This is what tell by the this is what mentioned by the minister. So let us show that the Karnataka government overruled the police concern on the RCB victory parade. So there is a you can say sad incident happened after the win of the RCB, and in that incident, so there are a lot of knee-jerk reaction by the government. They simply suspended a lot of police officials, but now it is found that it is the government who overruled the police concern in the victory parade. So this is a clear indication that we need to have standard operating procedure. We need to have intelligence, so that you can prevent such kind of preventable mishappening in different part of the country. Okay, not much important. You can simply know this incident. That is more than enough to write a good answer. Okay, dear student, you can join our Dronacharya year-long mentorship program. So here you will get interview of your faculty guidance at a very nominal fees. We are not charging huge amount of money, just like other coaching institute. Yet you will get very personalized mentorship, as well as answer writing, prelims test series, and summary video of daily targets, as well as we will also provide the summarized notes of it. So please join very fast, because the offer we are currently providing 20% discount. So you can avail it very fast. Otherwise, the price will increase. So next is NIA to take the murder case of Hindutva activist. So recently there is a murder, a gruesome murder of a Hindutva activist. So after that, ministry said that the Unlawful Activity Prevention Act dealing with the unlawful association and terrorist activity were attracted. Okay, so recently Union Home Ministry on Saturday handed over the investigation into the murder of 30-year-old Suhan Sethi, a Hindutva activist who was accused, two murder case. So in that case, the Union Home Ministry transferred this case to the NIA. So you have to remember that NIA is established under NIA Act 2008. So NIA is a statutory body. Okay. So there is one more act that is dealing with the terrorist activities. It's called Unlawful Activity Prevention Act, UAPA. So what are the objective of that? Unlawful Activity Prevention Act dealing with unlawful association and terrorist activity were attracted. Okay? Central government was of opinion that schedule offence under the National Investigation Agency Act has been committed in the. देखो, if any offence committed that is part of the schedule, means there is a schedule under the NIA Act. Under the NIA Act, there is a schedule. Let's say Schedule A, it is mentioned that this is the offence. Let's say killing a person, that is transboundary killing, then smuggling of weapons, then smuggling of person. If it is mentioned, that means it is a schedule offence. Then after that, investigation will automatically transfer to the NIA, and NIA is having power all over the country. Okay, and according to the Home Ministry, the central government was of opinion that the schedule offence comes under the National Investigation Act and has been committed in the instances case having regard to gravity of the offence, its national ramification, as well as need to unearth the larger conspiracy it was required to investigated by the NIA. So that is the ground under which the Ministry of Home Affairs transferred this case to the NIA. Okay? NIA to take off the investigation into the cases exercise power under the confer under the subsection 5 of the section read of NIA Act. So here it is not about this case, it is about power of NIA, how they are going to investigate. If anything, let's say if there is a NIA Act, so within that there are a lot of schedule. If any offence is mentioned within that schedule, if any offence is committed, then the central government can transfer the case to the NIA, and NIA is having all over India jurisdiction. That means, let's say India, there is a let's say simultaneously here there is a terrorist instances, here a terrorist attack, here a terrorist attack. If state police conduct investigation, they will not get a bigger picture. But in that case, if NIA conduct, they will collect the intelligence. They'll understand the big picture behind them. What are the real motive behind them, and that will help to root out the real cause. So that is the reason. That is the reason. Sometime the government transfer all these cases to the NIA. So the Assam government slam for slashing the tree to make space for flyover. Recently, there is a Assam government clear a lot of old trees to widen the flyover or construct the flyover. So because of that, there is a protest in different part of the Assam. So and like particularly Guwahati. So you can use this as an example how our urbanization or development is making the degradation of our environment, forest and trees. So civil society activists on Sunday slammed the Assam government for slashing numerous trees, some more than century old, in Guwahati to make space for the flyover. With increasing population, so we are cutting more trees to ensure that proper infrastructure. The falling and purported translocation of this tree deviate from the government commitment to the Guwahati High Court 6 months ago to realign the flyover so that not a single tree is affected. So this is what said by the Assam government. Assam government said to the Assam High Court, will modify our designing structure so that it will not going to affect like it is not going to have a falling of any single tree. But in reality, they have cut all this tree. So because of that, there is a protest. So here there is a term called public interest litigation. So dear student, so tell me, what is locus standi? So there is a term associated with public interest litigation that is called locus standi. So what is locus standi? So write in the comment box. Let me see how many of you know that. Okay. So next is Gurjar protest and rail blockade in the quota after government assurance on the demand. Okay. So recently the Gurjar community, they demand 5% reservation in the most backward class in the 9th schedule of the constitution. So dear student, they want Gurjar community, they should be given reservation of 5%, and that law should be placed in the 9th schedule of the constitution. Then question is, what is the 9th schedule of the constitution? So 9th schedule talk about any law that is made by this union government or state government. If that is put under the 9th schedule, so 9th schedule, that law cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court. If that law cannot be challenged, so that means it is protected from the judicial review. However, Supreme Court in IR Coelho case, it is clearly say that even if the state government, union government or state government putting any law under the 9th schedule, that can open to the challenges after केशवानंद भारती केस. दैट इज जब भी हुआ था केशवानंद भारती केस, आफ्टर द केशवानंद भारती केस, if any law passed by the union government or state government, they are putting under the 9th schedule, they can be subjected to judicial review. Okay, but still there are so many political parties that deliberately make some any policy that is violation of the constitution and then try to put in the 9th schedule, but later on Supreme Court struck down them. So many reservation policy that is violating the 50% norms are already put in the 9th schedule. So recent time we are seeing that large number of laws that is being made by either the state government or the central government. They are putting under the 9th schedule to protect, prevent from judicial scrutiny. The next is a collector to get wide power in registering work property. So recently there is a portal launched by the union government. Tell me in the comment box what is the name of that portal. We have already discussed for last 2 days. So what is the name of that portal? So district collector will have a crucial role to registering new work property and looking into the complaint of the government property being identified or declared as a work according to the draft work rule. So the collector will have all the power. So union government has sought view of the state government and state work board on the draft rule of the Work Amendment Act 2025, which was passed by the parliament in April. So rule was come into once they notified in the Gazette of India. So collector shall inquire into the genuineness and validity application of the registering of new work as per the revenue law and confirming that of. So what happened? मैं बता देता हूँ आपको, देखो before coming of this act. So let's say work board want to decide, let's say categorize any particular land as a work land. In that case, the individual who is going to affect it, they can go to the court and prove that this land is belongs to that person. Just imagine a simple person, it is giving, you can say, excess power to the work board to declare any land as a work property, and then simple a common man who have no other power have to fight against this work board, which is very tedious, sometime long time taking. So that is the reason this act come into being, to ensure there is a proper justice to the people. So to ensure that, government also launch a portal. What is the meaning of that portal? What is the naming of that portal? Please write in the comment box. Okay. The collector will also ascertain that the proceed property is not a government property. That means, whenever there is a registration of the work board, so collector ensure that this registration should not be like, the property should not belong to the government. Protected monuments. So if a protected monument is classified as a work board, so in that case collector need to be prevented that. So protected monument under Ancient Monument Preservation Act. So you have to remember this act, Ancient Monument Preservation Act 1904. So next act is Ancient Monument and Archaeological Site Remain Act, आमासार Act. उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, आमा. So this act actually protect all these monuments like Taj Mahal, you can say, then you can say Red Fort. All these are protected under this act. So and does not belongs to the scheduled caste according to this draft rule. That means, now if work board classify a particular land as work property, in that case collector have to ensure that this classification or whatever may be given, it should not be belong to any protected land. It should not be belong to government property. It should not be belongs to the scheduled tribe. So that is what it is talking about. Okay. So next is the CITU National Meets to held in Vizag. So why we are studying? Because there is a topics role of fresher group already given in his GS2. So Center for Indian Trade Union, you have to remember their name. Center for Indian Trade Union. So they are going to have meeting in the Andhra University. So the policies of India government favoring multinational corporation and corporates and working people should be united to oppose them. So actually you can see here they are working to protect the interest of the labor class, because if they are not there, if there is no labor class, or you can say there is no collective bargaining capability, in that case the corporate is going to exploit the workers. So that is the reason we need to have certain pressure group who can put pressure to improve their working condition, taking up the issue of concerning working class and ongoing agitation against the proposed move to privatize Visakhapatnam steel plant. Okay, so that means you can say CITU, they put pressure to improve the working condition of, you can say, labor. Okay, so first operation of Kumki elephant to cow wild tusker menace in the Andhra Pradesh to start soon. So it can ask about fast operation of what is Kumki, Operation Kumki. So they can ask about that. So you need to know about that. 3 Kumki elephant. So trained tusker. Kumki मतलब क्या होता है? Trained tusker brought from Karnataka have been given advanced training to get acclimatized to local condition at Musalima Dugu camp near the Andhra Pradesh. So trained handler, the forest official of the Palamar, so this region, they are getting ready for the deployment of the trained handler to commence the Kumki operation at high risk location. So when you deploy this kind of elephant, they prevent the wild animal from creating any damage to the crop and people. So this specially trained batch will control the wild horde that damage to the standing crops such as paddy, tomato, and ground knots beside inflicting casualty on the human. So you can say this is a good way. This is a good way to control human animal conflict by using operation of Kumki elephant. So they can ask about Kumki element. What is that? So you need to remember that. So a specially designed 30-day program was formulated to assist Kumki in getting acclimatized to the local topography, climatic condition, and terrain. So whenever you are translocating one elephant to another location, they need to be acclimatized. Just like whenever you are traveling from one location to another location, you need some time to acclimatize to that climate. Okay. So next, last page, we'll have to move last page. So the magic microscopy. So take a closer look. So they can ask about what is magic microscopy. So you have to understand that. Scientists use the powerful technique called cryo-electron microscopy to see the 3D shapes of the biological molecules, but it normally need molecules to be extremely concentrated in a sample first, but rare molecule in this, which is hard to achieve. So like you just remember, no need to go in detail because there's a lot of technicality details. So we are not concerned about these are part of highly technical issues. So we should not concern about that. You need to know about magic microscopy. They can find here. You can say they are able to see the 3D. They are able to see the 3D shape of the biological molecules. Okay, they are able to see the 3D shape of the biological molecules. That much is more than enough. That much information is more than enough for our examination. Nothing more is important. Okay. So a drone view, it is also important. A drone view show that early stage of re-wetting process at Balaghot Bog, Ireland. The semi-state of semi-state of company. So actually, what is bog? Bog, wetland. So wetland play very important role in carbon sequestration. A bog. बॉक्स क्या होता है, वेटलैंड होती है. वेटलैंड क्या होता है, उसके अंदर बहुत सारे कार्बन स्टोर करके रखते हैं. यू कैन सी हियर दिस इज अ वेटलैंड. ठीक है. सो हियर इट इज गिवन रीवेट द बॉग टू कॉफ कार्बन एमिशन एंड इवेंचुअली रिटर्न बैक टू द कार्बन सिंक. सो यूरोपियन कमीशन लास्ट ईयर रेफर टू द आयरलैंड टू बी यूरोपियन कोर्ट ऑफ justice falling to protect its bog. So if you protect the bog, so already the carbon that is stored in the land, they store in that form, so that is not going to create any sort of emission. Okay. So next new study make controversial whether tweaking idea more realistic. देखो क्या होती है, nowadays we are seeing that climate change, global warming is happening. So because of that, our climate is warming very fast. So there is some people proposing some ideas so that we can reduce the global warming. So what are their idea? So world need to lower its dependency on the fossil fuel. Country have done so and fit the start. So issue like war, poverty, disease, inflation have often left climate mitigation on the back burner. Today, greenhouse gas emissions are increasing worldwide. देखो, since industrial revolution, we have seen that we have emitted a lot of greenhouse gas. So because of that, around you can say 1.08 degree Earth already temperature is increased, and we are expecting next 5 to 10 years will cross 1.5 degrees Celsius marks. So in that case, there are some proposing that we can use some geoengineering to reduce the sunlight that is reaching on the surface of the Earth. So one we can use is surface albedo enhancement. Like the Earth surface we can whiten that so that whatever light fall here they will reflect back. They will reflect back. Second, there is increasing the reflectivity of marine cloud. So on the top of marine, well, ocean, there is a cloud. So we can increase the reflectivity so that whatever light fall, it will reflect back. Na? Then third is increasing the amount of stratospheric aerosol. So stratosphere there are a lot of aerosol. So if you can increase by let's say you can fly an aeroplane here, you can fly an aeroplane here, and aeroplane will inject lot of this you can say this aerosol. So in that case it will reflect lot of sunlight. So it reduce the light that is reaching on the Earth's surface. Then fourth is space based method. So we can place huge mirror on the space, so whatever sunlight fall on it, so it will reflect back so that less sunlight can reach on the Earth's surface. So next we can say about decrease the amount of high altitude cirrus cloud. So if you can decrease the amount of high altitude cirrus cloud, we can also you can say reduce the heating of Earth. So researchers have been proposed that the use of technology to directly cool the planet rather than bank to reduce the emission alone. So stratospheric aerosol injection is one such technology and controversial one. So researchers said that we can inject the aerosol in the stratosphere to reduce the amount of light that is reaching on the Earth's surface. So stratospheric aerosol injection, the aerosol are injected into Earth stratosphere to reduce the amount of sunlight reaching the surface. Okay. So, it's similar to the volcanic eruption. So we have seen that post volcanic eruption, whenever there is a big volcanic eruption happen, so after that it is emitting so many small aerosol particles, like dust particles, then sulfur particles to the clouds. So because of that, big cloud is formed, and that is reflecting a lot of sunlight, and sunlight is not able to reach to the earth's surface. So whenever there is a big volcanic eruption, after that it is clearly seen that there is a cooling of the earth surface. So that can we replicate in our natural environment to ensure global temperature should not rise more than 2 degrees Celsius. But problem is that how we are going to do that. So we can do that by by spraying some you can say sulfur dioxide or other aerosol. But problem is that once we are going to emit that, so its implication is widespread. It can create severe environmental concern, because the sulfur is also going to cause acid rain. It is also going to cause irritant. It's also greenhouse gas. So all these concern, and it is not limited to any country. Let's say any X country can do that, but its impact is going to have all over the world. So before doing anything, we need to have worldwide consensus. ठीक है. So पढ़ लीजिए. I think मैंने already highlight किया हूँ. So this is the crux of that. So USA nuclear proposal does not offer relief from sanctions. So already we have discussed about JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. This is being proposed by P5 plus German with Iran. So that they propose that Iran should give up its nuclear program, and it should only focus on the peaceful nuclear energy program, and this country will help the Iran. But Iran want to have a nuclear weapon, and because of that, because this is agreement is failed, because Iran want to have nuclear program, but this P5 plus German, they are opposing. Because of that Iran, the USA imposes sanction on the Iran, and because of that the relation is very in a negative state, and now they are renegotiating so that sanction can be removed. But Iran says that the USA nuclear proposal does not offer relief from the sanction. Okay, but it is generally believed that Iran on the process or verge of developing nuclear weapon. So that is what USA and its allies believe it is a threat. So that is the reason they impose huge pressure on the Iran, so that they cannot develop the nuclear weapon. So India dominates day 2 of Taiwan Open Athletes. So there are so many people, like they though so many Indian athletes, they win the gold medals. So India continue to own as many as 6 gold medal, including double 6 gold medal. Okay, in the second day. So just read that, not much important. Okay, so Wagner Group is now replaced by Russia's African Crop in Mali. So you might be knowing about Wagner Group. So these are actually private mercenaries of Russia. So they are fighting in different part of the world. So Russian paramilitary group Wagner has left the Mali, and its unit were have been taken over by the Moscow-run African Corps Diplomatic and Security Forces says. So officially the Wagner is no longer present in the Mali, but in Africa, Corps is a step off. So one diplomatic sources in Sahel region. So dear student, you have to map the Sahel region. So which country is called part of the Sahel region? This is your homework, and write answer in the comment box. Sahel region. A Telegram group affiliated to the Wagner group said that mission accomplished. So PMC Wagner is going home. So Mali ruling Janta, so the ruler of the Mali, so they seized power in coup in 2020 and 2021, and broke their ties with colonial power like French, and pivot they moved towards the Russia, and politically and militarily. So Wagner जो group है, they are best known for machinery groups, was disbanded and restructured after its leader died in the mysterious plane crash, and following shortly rebellions against the Moscow. So the leader of this, first of all, the Wagner group, they are actually machinery forces. They are private army. They fight for the Russia in different part of the world to protect the interest of Russia. But the chief of that Wagner army, they recently revolted against the the current government. So because of that, he's died in a mysterious circumstances. After that, entire entire group was disbanded. So next is bridging the health coverage, mental health in India. So recently we are seeing that mental health, people are not thinking about mental health. They are thinking that it's a natural problem. So it is said that globally mental health condition affect 1 in 5 adults. That means 20% of people are affected by mental health. So it is said that the developed country, they are mostly affected by the mental health than developing country. So World Health Organization estimating that an annual productivity loss of 1 trillion due to untreated mental health issue. So what is the loss? 1 trillion loss because of untreated mental health issue. So global mental health condition affect about 1 in 5 adult as for the WHO. So it is estimated loss is 1 trillion. So note it down. So you can discuss about mains answer. Okay. So Mental Health Care Act, this is what passed by our parliament, and IRDAI. So Indian Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. So dear student, tell me in the answer box. You have to study about IRDAI details. So under which act it is established, what are the mandates, okay? So it is regulating which sector. You have to read everything. This is your homework. So mental health is now covered at par with physical illness across the health insurance plan in India. So now now after this passage of this Mental Health Act, after the Parliament passed the Mental Health Act (MHA), so now the mental health is compared with the equal to that of the physical health. Okay. So now you can say that the younger Indian lead. So those who are from the 25 to 34 year, they are driving highest charge for interest policy uptake and mental health claims. So those who are in the younger age, they are demanding more mental health as compared to those who are already high age group. So anxiety disorder account 30 to 35% of the mental health claims. So you have to also note it down. So anxiety 30 to 35% of the mental health. So next we'll see. So and depression is about 20 to 25 to 30% workplace stress. So just read about that so that you can write about your answer whenever they ask something. Okay. So next is geographically mental health insurance adoption is still concentrated in the urban area. So only the tier one city like Delhi, Mumbai, the people are talking about. But in the metro, tier two, tier three city, people are not much aware about the mental health condition. So dear student, you can join our the free mentorship program. Here you will get daily schedule and infographics, newspaper, daily current affair, and access to the PYQ question bank. Okay. So don't wait and join fast so that to get benefit of this program. So and those who are attempting for UPSC 2026, so they can attempt this test on a real life so that they can understand it better. Then in India and Mongolia joint military exercise to enhance interoperability. So you need to remember the name of that. So name of the joint exercise name is Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of the Mongolia. So Ulaanbaatar is capital of the Mongolia. So the joint military exercise name is Nordic Elephant. So you have to remember what is the name, Nordic Elephant. So by the Special Force Training Center in Mongolia. So ये कहाँ हुआ है? It is held in Mongolia. Okay. So focus which type of work? Conduct non-conventional operation in the semi-urban and mountain terrain. United Nations mandate under United Nations mandate. The exercise aim to enhance the operational capability of both the forces. So the two-week exercise is annual events conducted alternatively in India and Mongolia. So 1 year it is going to conduct in India, another year it is going to conduct in Mongolia. So Umroi in Meghalaya. So previous year they conducted in Umroi in Meghalaya. So Nordic Elephant placed strong emphasis on the fostering cultural understanding and commandering between the participating troops. So it helps in promoting troop to troop level collaboration so that it will increase the interoperability between the both the forces. Okay. So diet is both cause and cure of the MAS LDS, a liver condition expert talking about. So, okay. So age against 30% of the global incident, 40% of Indian population affected by metabolic dysfunctional associated steatotic liver disease. So a liver condition that remain silent pandemic. So you can study about that. So why this is happening. So expert emphasize that weight reduction is key to treating the non-alcoholic fatty condition triggered by unhealth lifestyle and metabolic risk factors such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, and insulin resistance. So fatigue or tiredness and mild pain on the right of the abdomen can only early symptom of the mass LD. Okay, I think no need to study about detail. So you can only talk about by changing our lifestyle. Earlier we used to walk a lot in the field, so our physical activity are involved. We are like walk a lot. Now with urban life, everything is available at the click of the you can say mouse. So people are quite lazy. So because of that, all these lifestyle related diseases are coming off. So you can give example of that. This is a lifestyle disease. Okay. So here it is. You can. It's a very good news. So we need to of pride of our armed forces. So AIF lift kidney cornea organs donation saved 5 life. ठीक है, so 5% receive a new lease of life after brain dead patient. So what do you mean by brain dead? So that means, a person is organ is active but brain is dead. Organ was sent across the different part of the country with one kidney and cornea lifted to Air Force, ठीक है, Bangalore to Delhi, so that by using one person we can give life to the 5%. ठीक है. So next important topic, it is talking about, most cases mild. Official says COVID tally increase. So, recent time our COVID cases are increasing very rapidly. So, but the cases are very mild because, we are already having natural infection. Almost all people are infected by the COVID. So already they having natural immunity. Plus we are also having large vaccination drive. So because of that we are having strong immunity. So we need no need to concern about that, but we need to very careful. So extremely fortunate to be part of this space mission. This is what shared by Subhanshu Shukla. So Subhanshu Shukla is going to the second person who is traveling space and first person to travel the International Space Station from India. Ahead of a historic journey to the International Space Station, this is very important for your prelims. Indian astronaut Subhanshu Shukla has stormed the preparation for Axiom 4 mission amazing journey that was extremely fortunate to be part of. Okay, so crew, so he'll be onboarding the crew SpaceX ka Dragon 9 spacecraft mounted on the Falcon 9 rocket. So Falcon 9 rocket and SpaceX Dragon का spacecraft के अंदर बैठ के जाएंगे. So will be second Indian traveler to the space, 41 after the idol Rakesh Sharma. Rakesh Sharma is the first person to travel in this space. So Rakesh Sharma was onboarding the Soyuz rocket of this, USSR or at that time. So 8 days stay in the orbit. Okay. So SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon spacecraft capsule rollout launching at the 39A. Okay, so under the part of the action mission. So you need to remember all these things, like, uh, uh, कौन सा mission, like which mission, name of that mission, which spacecraft. You have to remember everything because they can ask a question and they can tweak something and they can, confuse you. So more Rhodes Scholarship for Indians from 2028. So Rhodes Scholarship Trust, which offer prestigious scholarship for the studying in the University of Oxford, is aiming to increasing number of scholarship for students from the 2028 to align with the country population strength. And Richard, this is what talk about, actually they are going to provide more scholarship for studying in Oxford. So just you know to remember that the Rhodes Scholarship, they are providing scholarship for studying in Oxford. So they, either you can remember that this is an initiative by NGO, or you can say UK to promote, international movement of Indian students. So next is India will prioritize protecting farmer interest during the trade talk with USA, says Union Ministry. देखो what happening currently. So lot of, India is exporting lot of agricultural product to USA. So USA want to also export lot of, agriculture product to the India, but our farmer are small and marginal farmers, so they are subsistence level of farming. But US farming, the farmer are very big, so they are using large scale fertilizers, everything. So their production is very high. So if you open and reduce the tariff, so their product will be flawed in our Indian market. So because of that, our farmer is going to suffer. So that is the reason. So our ministry is saying that we need to protect our farmer interest. Okay, this is all about the news, nothing else. Just read that, you'll understand it. Okay. So what does the Google plan to do about online search antitrust decision? देखो, no need to study everything here. Just understand that. So Google is a dominant player in the search engine. So he is using that dominant position. जैसे मैं आपको बताता हूँ, like, Android mobile. So all your Android mobile, your Chrome is already pre-installed. So that means, so you have to, like, already you have to search that. So they are there. For example, in Play Store, you have to, if you have to, let's say, list your application, you have to pay the charges, and you have to use only the, like payment gateway. So they, because of that Google is having a monopoly position in the market. So they're abusing that market to exploit the peoples, and they are also handling a lot of data. So because of that, there is an antitrust movement that is going on against the Google in the USA. So you can talk about how corporate manipulating, or use dominant position or monopoly position to create self interest. So you can talk about in ethics, you can talk about in essay also, you can talk about in the GS2. ठीक है. So security, you can talk about that also. How India is planning to localize EV manufacturing. So this is already very good. It's already discussed. We have already discussed. It's a very important news. So EV is coming under Ministry of Heavy Industry. So you have to remember that. So electric vehicle is coming under which ministry? It is Ministry of Heavy Industry. So I'm already discussed multiple occasions. So if you follow whatever I'm saying very religiously, you'll get 20 to 30 question in your UPSC prelims. So prelims should not be our headache. So what are the proposals? So reduce the custom duty on import ready to ship completely electric vehicle to 70 to 100% to only 15%. That will apply to vehicle that is costing $35,000. And however, this would be subject to manufacturing. Dekho, we are reducing the tariff for complete vehicle from foreign manufacturer, but after they import the vehicle they have to invest 4,000 around 4,000 crore in the next 3 years. This would be expected to build infrastructure and facility to enable 25% overall car manufacturing activity undertaken in domestically. Okay, so this is what we have taken to ensure there is a movement of investment from across the country and emergence of India as a manufacturing hub for the EV. So 50% within the 5 years. Ministry of Heavy Industry specify that maximum number of vehicles that we can import is 8,000 only. Okay. So the maximum duty permitted for gun, so cap at 6,484 crore. Okay. So you can see the China is the leading manufacturer of the EV, accounts 70% of the global manufacturing now. Okay. So just read it out, you'll understand all these things. So important point I will already discussed to you. So just read it out, you can understand it. So what is the significance? What is the significance of census? So you need to study that because census is going to be quite news for next 2 to 3 years. So there can be question either prelims or mains question. So very careful on that. So when was the first census conducted? What were the two phases of the current census exercise? Why the caste census is going to be enumerated in upcoming census? So why are the southern state and some small state apprehension about the census exercise? The census is conducted by which ministry? It is Ministry of Home Affairs. So you have to remember which thing comes under which ministry. So they are asking multiple questions also. So next census will be conducted in two phase. That is going to held in March 2027. So what is the history of census? So first census हमने कभी क्या हुआ था? So if you go to the historically when Kautilya, Arthashastra and Aini Akbari of Mughal, they also talked about collection of the data of the population. So whenever you are writing something related to essay or in detail, so you can talk about even Kautilya, Aini Akbari of during the time of Akbar. They are also collecting all this data for better understanding. But modern synchronized census where population data is collected simultaneously across the country started in 1881. ठीक है, 1881 में सिंक्रोनाइज हुआ के स्टार्ट हुआ था ड्यूरिंग द ब्रिटिश पीरियड. उस समय का कौन थे? डब्ल्यूसी प्लोडेन, द फर्स्ट सेंसस कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, डब्ल्यूसी प्लोडेन. Just remember that. And last census conducted that collect the caste data was 1931, that is before to the independence. And after independence we have enacted Census Act 1948, the key legislation governing census process. It authorized the central government to undertake census operation, appoint census commissions to supervise entire exercise. Okay. So under this act there is a commission named Census Commission to ensure that proper implementation of collection of the data. Center also appoint director of census operations to supervise census within several states. Okay. So since 1971 census operation have been carried out in two phases. First phase में क्या होता है? House listing phase that collect information about the housing data. So first one is about the house listing. Here all the house are listed and collect the data about the house. This usually spread for 5 to 6 months. In the last census 2011, the house listing schedule contain 35 questions that include detail like what type of house, main source of drinking water, latrine facility, like it's overall how your housing detail. Okay. Second phase is population enumeration phase that is usually conducted during the month of February. Census year as usual reference data population count is fixed as a March census year. So this capture individual detail like name, sex, age. So ये कब count होती है? जो अपना जो population enumeration generally February में होती है ताकि whatever data we are getting that can be compared. Let's say previously we are also collecting in February. This year also we are collecting after 10 year. If we are collecting in February, it's better for comparison. And here we'll collect name, sex, age, ठीक है, belong to the schedule caste and schedule tribe. Already each and every census हमने क्या collect करते हैं, SC ST, we always collect the SC ST data, but we don't collect other caste. But this census we are going to collect everything. So 2011 this data was released by end of the March. The final report with a detailed analysis of demographic, religious, linguistic profile was released in April 2013 में हमने release किए थे. So what is the significance? Why this census is significant? So decadal significance has happened from 1881 to 2011 without a break. So it is up to okay, but during pandemic it is we are not able to conduct in 2021. So if there is a question, since 1981 the census has been continuously conducted by the India. The answer is, the question is wrong now, because due to COVID-19 we are not able to conduct the census in 2021. Okay. While the exercise could have been conducted anytime after 2022, it has been continuously postponed. The present census can be considered most significant in independent. So the present census is very important. Why? Because of three reasons. First reason is the central government has decided to enumerate caste. So first is central government has decided to add the caste data. Second is about uh, so all census after independence have captured only SC ST detail. Up to all the census they capture about SC ST data, but now we are going to capture the caste, other caste detail. And third is, after 2026 we are going to delimit our constituency, and this census data is going to be used to delimitation of the constituency. And on the basis of the census data we are also going to provide one third reservations to the women. So because of this four factor, this census is quite important. Okay. So what should be the way forward? So the enumeration of the caste detail need to be done in a systematic and flawless manner. Definitely, because 2011 we have conducted socio-economic caste census. Socio-economic caste census. This census was full of flaw. So ultimately, government has no option but to abandon that. So that is the reason we need to ensure whatever data we are collecting, it should be very highly accurate so that it can be used properly. The data can have to be used for decision making on affirmative action, because the data can be used for reservation. Hence, the adequate time for preparatory work is necessary. However, genuine apprehension of the southern states, some smaller state, northern India have northern eastern state losing political significance of proposed delimitation consequences to be carried out. Okay, so what does it mean? Dekho, now after, you can say, after the 1971, so there is a constitutional amendment to limit the census after, like there is a freezing on the delimitation of the constituency, because at that time population control action was taken, and to reward the states those who have populate control their population, that seat should not be reduced. So this position is freezed up to 2026. Okay. So now whenever the after the census the seat is going to increase. So northern state, they are having huge population. So if we allocate more seat to the northern state and less seat to the southern state, so that is going to create tension in the India. So because of that, so many political parties, they raise the objection that southern state have been performing very well in terms of you can say demographic, like controlling population. So they should not be punished for that. Instead of that, the article suggesting that if proposed delimitation and consequent revision of number of Lok Sabha carried out on the population as per 2027 census must be heeded. So many of these state demand that freeze the. So now the southern state, they demand that whatever the current level of the seat allocations to each and every state, they should be freezed, so that there should not be any change in the seat, so that those who have undertaken the population control, they should not be punished. Okay. I think this is all about the this significance. I've already discussed everything. So please make a note of it, and whatever may be tasked, just complete that. And dear student, you can scan this QR code to join our daily Saturday and Sunday podcast. Here you can talk to me and ask all your doubt. I'll try to solve that. So defense production in India receive a flip. So yes. So while India continue to be importer of large share of defense equipment, but our defense production is rising very fast. So week following the Operation Sindoor, that is we have conducted against our, Gaddar neighbor Pakistan. There have been a discussion on the efficacy of India homegrown defense capability and confident in them. So India's defense production and export hit record high in the past financial year, contributing from the private sector company and MSME is increasing. So recent time we have seen that our defense export is rising very fast, and that too the private sector and MSME, they are also exporting a lot of defense hardware. So India is continue to be though we are exporting, still we are the largest importer. India continue to be import large share of the defense equipment and weapon. Government so that domestic manufacturing picking off. India defense production is reached record kitna 1.3 lakh crore in 2023-24 and growing 17% as compared to previous year. Okay. In fact, the defense production has to be seen double digit growth since 2022. Okay. So has contracted by during COVID time. There is a contraction. India defense export picking off exceeding 20,000 crore. Currently, we are exporting more than 20,000 crore of defense export in past financial year. India defense export small arm, protective gear, and artillery. So, what kind of equipment we are exporting? We are exporting small arms, protective gears, and artillery. So, export over current fiscal is 30,000 crore. So, we are expecting to export 30,000 crore of a defense product. So, public sector company account majority of the total defense production. So, you can see out of that export, it is majorly, you can say around 80% is contributed by public sector, and private sector they are contributing only 20%. So we need to increase the contribution of the private sector. And MSMEs also emerged in the defense production story by providing component to the defense industry. Government set a mandatory target of public procurement from the MSME to ensure state supports to such unit. Okay, good worth of 13,000 crore we have exported from MSME. So government makes sure that those who are procured from the defense manufacturer, they should be procured from the MSME, so that our MSME will be developed. Because MSME is highly labor intensive. If there is a proper development of MSME, that is going to create a lot of jobs. And increase in the value of the defense production and share of the notwithstanding share of the defense overall government expenditure has been declining, but government still more more on its military to GDP more than other country market economy. Okay. uh, okay, so you can just see here government is our defense production is increasing also. We are exporting most product to the world. Dear student, because of last student demand, we have make our first five test of the OPSC are free and open to all. You can scan this QR code and practice them. So next is about unlawful measure. So recently, recently there is a Manipur violence is happening, and whenever because of the violence, when the central force arrest the person, so people are protesting and they declare the violence, and they burn some of the police vehicle also. So the ethnic conflict. So ethnic conflicts, unlike other variant of strife, are more difficult to end because the nature and level of grievances of the community hostile to each other. Because people are hostile, they have hatred towards each other. So ethnic conflict are very difficult to solve. So Impal Valley has again erupted in protest over the arrest of leader extremist idealitarian outfit Arambai Tengal. So highlight the necessity and difficulty in implementing law enforcement measure in ethnic conflict. This group has engaged in act of wanton lawlessness with impunity, targeting those who do not agree with militant agenda with violence and threat. So they simply want you have to follow them. If you not follow, they'll take violence action. So the security forces have also unable to act because public protection, because of this all these things. So security forces is also not able to act. And after that, president rule is imposed in the Manipur. Even that we are not able to control the problem of Manipur. But yes, government is now talking to different factions and finding solutions to the Manipur problem. So government of the Manipur, which is currently under president rule, thus making clear that involvement of those arrested in the crime and bring them to the justice. Okay? So it should be our clear message to the everyone that those who have violence or those who have involved in the severe crime will ensure that they should be punished. So it must use devices, convening all meeting party involving civil society representative from across all ethnic line to reinforce this message. Must not give the pressure to the reverse legal steps that against the offender. So we need to ensure consensus, and those who have violated severe human right, they need to be punished also, so that that is going to create a deterrent also. So next is it is talking about interlocutor. So recently, India sends a delegations to the all over the world to expose the Pakistan nefarious design to bleed India through the thousands of cut. So that is what create you can say global opinion against the Pakistan about this state sponsored terrorism. So if you look into our delegation, they are spread over the delegation comprising our pan India basis. They are from the all religion and all party. That is what we are saying. Though our political party, they have different ideology, they fight at the national level, but when it is comes to the national interest, we all need to be stand united. There should be one voice against the terrorism. That is will not going to tolerate. So next is the consultative regulation making that should be go further. So this article is talking about whenever the SEBI means you need to study about Security Exchange Board of India, then RBI. Both are statutory body. So they are having quasi legislative power. That means they can make rules, law, regulation. They are having quasi judicial power. They can make verdict also. They are also having quasi executive power. They have the administrative power to implement them. But before they making any sort of quasi legislation, there should be a wider level of consultation with the public. They should take all the opinion. They should consult. They should publish in public why they are going to take this action, so that wider participation of the people and their intent can be better understand. This is what it is talking about. And the regulation they should be bring, it should be lighter, it should be facilitative. So judicial sensitivity to the sentiment is a sign of regression. So recent time we are seeing that there are so many instances where judiciary is compelling a persons to you can say or apologize for anything they said to any community that hurt their sentiment. But this article is talking about the right to freedom of speech and expression. It is inherent right of individual. So if you are saying something, even if it is affecting, you can say, sentiment of any other people, then court should be stand in protecting the right of the individual, freedom of speech and expression, and only subject that is reasonable restriction should comes. So your freedom of speech and expression, it comes under 19 article 19, and their restriction should come under article 19 too. Here it is given the ground on that basis, there can be restriction. There could not be any restriction on the basis of any sentiment. Let's say any section of the society, they have any apprehension and they approach to the court. In that case, it is the duty of the court to protect the person, not go by the sentiment of the people. So if you look into the societal aspect, so there are so many regressive norm by aligning with that sentiment of the society. So we are moving towards regressive nature. So that is what this article is talking about. Okay, dear student, this is the end of 9th June newspaper analysis. So dear student, if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friend. And if you have any feedback, comment, please write in the comment box. Your comment are always welcome. So accordingly, we'll make video. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Tomorrow we'll again meet.